I've been saying I think Doom needs to be first phase banned. We've seen too many games that it's actually just taken over. I think actually the last game was one of the only ones that it didn't look good at all. RNG had a strong lane, and maybe that's how you need to play it. Like maybe you actually they banned the Undying for Aster.Aries, so this is just a little bit of a switch up here, recognizing that maybe we need to enable the Doom lane a little bit more because he had a rough time. His farm was slowed down pretty heavily, and then once that BKB time is maybe a couple minutes later, then it can really impact how your team wants to play around the early game timing with the BKB. So I don't mind the Doom getting picked up because they've protected with the Undying ban.
Okay, hopefully we can see Doom do a little bit more in this game. I understand that like it's one of those priority picks. It gets banned in second phase almost always. But I just seeing it not work last game and also not work in the previous series, I do wonder if maybe they're placing too much importance on it.
I think maybe a little. I'm personally more in the camp that Doom is good, but not like a top tier must ban, must pick in the first phase kind of hero. I think you're better off waiting to see a little bit of what your opponents are doing before going into Doom. It's kind of that greedy offlaner that takes a lot. It's not you're kind of the most farmed hero in the game a lot of the time, but you're not really stealing the farm from your teammates. But at the same time, I feel like he takes, until he gets that BKB blink, it feels like he's just not online. Whereas other offlaners, when they hit level 6 like a Mars or something, it's like, okay, we're ready to team fight. Doom doesn't have that kind of same impact.
Legion Commander coming out from RNG.
I think we're seeing a 5-position Death Prophet is my guess here. Red Panda's just playing all kinds of wonky 5s. We've seen Brew, we've seen, well, we just saw an Undying. I feel like we've seen some other weird 5s from him as well. Death Prophet as a 5 is not like crazy. It was, for a while, teams, I think it was Singapore Major, it was like one of the most picked heroes and played a lot of the time as a support.
So why do you think it's a DP5 and not potentially more of a core? Because isn't there the potential that maybe the Lina goes into the support and the Death Prophet could be mid?
Yeah,
right?
It's definitely possible. I think Lina as a 5 is not the greatest, and I don't think you want Nyx support against the Doom. The reason I think it's a 5 is because it's this ranged hero that can kind of just give Doom a tough time. I mean, we saw what the I think it's their Undying replacement, where this Death Prophet has Spirit Siphon, can always trade right clicks with Doom, and can kind of zone him out of the lane. That's my idea. And I think that's what it seems like RNG's approach to the game has been.
Then Ursa being picked up on the side of Aster.Aries. Aries, you like that one tying out the draft a little bit? Do you like the cohesion that's going on?
Maybe hit or miss with Ursa. I feel like the lane's pretty decent actually for Legion if that is a 3, especially you're probably hoping for a ranged 4 though, but it looks like you're more than likely paired with the Nyx, so we'll see how that lane's gonna fare. But I think Ursa is very reliant now on second Roche. You need to get first Ages, you need to get second with the Aghanim Shard. If you miss that timing, this hero can be very hit or miss, but it is a hero that Ulu loves to play, so going for comfort when you're one game down and backs against the Warrior potentially being eliminated. If you're going to get eliminated, I think they're more than happy to do it with the heroes they have.
Yeah, there's very much something to be said about playing on comfort. Again, in the last series that we had, we saw them go back to a little bit more comfort. Unfortunately, Sparking Arrows still ended up losing, but it was a much better showing from them than in the game 1. So I'm hoping here, Aster.Aries, like I said, going on to something a little bit more comfort, might be bringing out a little bit more direction that you guys said that they were struggling to have in that first game. So maybe because they know these heroes a bit better, the communication and the calling is going to be there for the team.
Yeah, the Legion pick's interesting. I don't think it stood out as an amazing Legion game when they picked it. I guess they're looking to have the pressy attack, can purge off some stuns, can also give attack speed against the Supernova. But it's not really a save against the Doom, the same way that maybe the Dark Series with the Surge. And also, Aster.Aries get a nice kind of, for the most part, lane. I think the Ursa lane is pretty good against the Legion.
How do Doom and Legion match up against each other in team fights? Is it something that it's possible for Doom to doom the Legion Commander before much else happens?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, again, I guess it's another scenario where it's like, who's going to be the good Doom target? Perhaps it's the Lifestealer here. But that's where if Lifestealer gets doomed and stunned or slowed, that press the attack while it won't get rid of the Doom may still be able to save his life because it can purge off any of those stuns and slows. But I think this Lifestealer looks to be a pretty good pick. A lot of melee heroes to lifesteal off, good against the axe. You're just built-in lifesteal for when you get cold. So traditionally, you do see this lifestealer a lot against the axe. And I think against the offline axe, it's particularly good. Against the carry axe, I feel like the axe has a lot of pure damage and can do pretty well. But oh, also by the way, yeah, mid Doom actually, no longer an offline Doom.
There you go. They're going to hopefully be prioritizing him a little bit more. But Aries having the 2 drafts completed now, which team do you like the look of? And give me some reasons.
I like this lifesteal last pick, like Parker was kind of saying. I think the matchup in the lane versus the axe is really strong. I think if you get doomed as well in the late game, you don't really care if you itemize for Satanic. You can actually stand your ground and heal enough where it doesn't matter. You kill off the Supernova that kind of need an egg hitter, so you've already got the Lina. But yeah, I think this lifesteal pick is perfect for God King, and I really like the RNG draft.
GoDz, would you agree with the RNG sentiment?
Yep, RNG. There's a top 3 in China, and I don't think anybody is dethroning them in these qualifiers.
You guys have definitely convinced me. I like the look of RNG. I like the look of this Lifestealer. But let's see how this plays out in game number 2 of this best of 3. Take it away.
Thank you, Nat. We're on board with the lifesteal here for RNG. Maybe it could be the comfort for Ulu. Even that's a bit of a comfort axe as well. What level is he? Level 25 axe. So and we see Aster.Aries, a lot more team fight, a lot more control as well in this game. Do you think maybe there's a window where they might be able to take over, or we're still just really on board with this lifesteal?
They've still got a pretty greedy slow draft. I feel like this mid Doom is just gonna be looking to farm until the BKB blink. I guess maybe you're okay with that because it's a mid laner. But even the axe, I feel like takes until he gets blink. You're struggling maybe to make those plays. So I think you could run into similar problems to last game, where it's just kind of slow paced, farm oriented game, which overall to me I think will favor RNG. But curious to see. I think they need to force those fights a bit better this game. You know, Phoenix plus Axe is a good way to do that. It's just, you know, you have the egg, you can use the coal to protect it, you've got that BKB piercing ability, and a good way to kind of build your team fight.
A hero for, in particular, RNG that I've been very impressed with is actually Red Panda. You know, coming back from the Elephant roster, I was excited to see how much of the time over there, experience he was able to gain, because I mean, that roster is incredibly stacked. When you look at the likes of Eurus, Somnus, Yang, and FY, these are players that have been in the scene for quite some time. So for him to come into this RNG roster and maybe bring some of that valuable experience, but also taking a look at his hero pool as well, like the Brew on day 1. We've seen the Undying, which in particular I think destroyed the lane last game, which was a big factor. Now he's got a Death Prophet 5. I believe we've even seen him play a Viper too. So when we've got so much flexibility, it can give you so many more opportunities to win these lanes. Like we've seen Aster have done so well because of the help of Lenham.
Yeah, I'd say the other side of that coin, he's a bit of a hipster, and at times, sometimes you just want to have a 5 who'll play the meta heroes. But yes, it's great to have that flexibility. It is a little surprising to see that they never pick these standard 5s that, you know, most teams are playing. It doesn't seem to play like the Phoenix.
It's boring.
Or
that's why.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, no, what do you mean? If we're going to win, we're going to do it in style. We don't want these goddamn meta heroes. Like, who do you think we are?
Yeah. I think the Brew pick is the one that's a bit sus to me. I'd like to see him avoid any more 5 Brews.
Has he lost on it so far? Oh, they lost that 100-minute game. I think he was playing the Brew in that one.
But we'll see how these lanes unravel. The Legion Ursa, this is, one of these matchups, I feel like it can go either way. Like, yeah, on paper, you've got the Fury swipes, and having Ursa against a melee offlaner can be good, but Legion himself, you know, with a moment of courage, can often trade blows and has a death. I think Death Prophet is going to be able to do more than the Phoenix, at least at level 1 and level 2. When level 2 Fire Spirits come out, perhaps this lane will change a bit because the damage output is going to be a lot higher for Aster.Aries.
It is nice though, because you can trade with abilities for the Death Prophet. Like often we see if it's a position 4 against the Fire Spirits, it can be a little bit more difficult to kind of continue to trade versus the Phoenix. But another factor is like this Ursa's early levels have definitely gotten a lot weaker in the previous patches here. Overall, this start for them looking pretty solid for RNGs. We swing down to the bottom lane. We're speaking about the Axe and Lifestealer. Has this kind of changed overall through the patches, or is it still, is there one hero that you say is slightly favored in this?
Yeah, it's definitely the Lifestealer for me when it comes to this, the laning stage for sure. Having Axe can feel nice later on because you've got an ability to lock him down during the rage. The stun through his spell immunity, but even then it's like he can lifesteal, he can go into like a, you know, later on if he needs more lifesteal, there's satanic options. Not that I think he needs that by any means, but yeah, all in all, I like lifestealer into the Axe.
Wow, flyby.
Okay.
Picks up first blood. Siamese Cat, that's a big one to fight. We're speaking about the Phoenix. The level timings is only level 2 right now, so still not the strongest he could potentially be in that lane. And also Phoenix is getting beat down mid.
I think he caught him by surprise. He got a second point in overwhelming odds, which is pretty unusual on Legion Commander, but give him some extra damage and allow him to get that kill. Phoenix getting beat down, will get a bottle refill, but yeah, his lane is going terrible. Every time I'm looking, D-Stone is hitting him with LSAs to secure creeps and also deny. He is just obliterating Phoenix.
We've seen the ice armor kind of help out previously for the Doom in the lane, so maybe that extra 5 armor could be enough for him. I mean, even saying though, isn't he got 5 starting armor now? Previously, like this was a hero that really suffered in the laning stage, had to go for like 1, maybe even 2 ring of protections, but now it's a little bit better. But even then, a ranged melee matchup is never nice.
Definitely makes a big difference, his frost armor. That'll help him out a lot, but Lina just got a double bottle refill with the bounty rune into the water rune, so D-Stone's is coming back with the double nukes. And yeah, Doom will be, I mean, he'll be fine. Like, he's got Devour and he'll catch up and all that, but I think the bigger concern is just how well Lina's game is going right now.
Do you feel like this is a game where maybe D-Stones can get a little bit more active than what he was in the previous game?
What are we up against? Probably, yeah, I think the Yules build is going to be good again. You're playing against Ursa, so having the Yules against the status resist is really nice. And it does feel like there's exactly. Yules against the Axe is great. So I think there are more rotation possibilities for him. When he's got, I mean, he had Nyx last game too, but they're going to want to at least take objectives with the Death Prophet support level 6, so hopefully we see a more active D-Stones.
Yeah, and especially you've got a Legion Commander as well, so once Flyby hits level 6, you know, maybe D-Stones can swing up to that top lane, because you're not really worried about your mid tower being under threat from a Doom position too. This is a hero that is nothing like someone, a Lestrak in particular is. They do find the Nyx Assassin. Felix was trying to swing on mid, placing down an Observe Ward, so nice maneuver from Yona. They may have actually scouted that out, because they have their own ward kind of protecting their triangle stairs, so maybe there is an idea of Radiant placing that ward near mid.
Yep. Yeah, very underleveled on the Nyx. Felix perhaps not feeling in his comfort zone, playing the 4 position role from the safe lane. He's been giving Lifestealer pretty much all the solo XP, and you know, he probably has to just play his game differently. When you're laning with a carry compared to an off lane, you have to be less greedy.
Ando? It's gonna end up falling. They'll trade the kill on Siamese Cattle. Actually, they won't be able to, as Flyby, nothing left in the tank, as Ulu's got another round of the Earth Shock. Could jump on forward with the Fury Swipe stacking up. Your Ursa is able to pick up a double kill. Now, we saw Ulu have a very good start on the Juggernaut in game 1, but he wasn't able to transition that into a solid Jug overall performance. Do you feel like this could be any different here, though, for Ulu?
Yeah, I think being more of a comfort pick, a hero he's played so many times, you can see it by, you know, his ranking, his master tier or whatever tier that is on the Ursa, and just it's an active hero. Oh, gets the enrage off against the Laguna Blade. The chase is still there, and he's still going down. 1 or 2 more right clicks with a Crypt Swarm. Barely.
Good play. If he was able to get that sidestep of the LSA, maybe it was enough, but there's a rotation. Lena coming up very much helps her. You get a haste rune for D-Stone, see if you can refill the bottle, maybe even make a stack at the heart. Look at that efficiency from D-Stones, and something we were highlighting through our previous games, you know, teams like Extreme Gaming, they weren't giving the support the mid lane to soak once their position 2 left, and already Felix, you were highlighting that he was low on levels, was already level 4 now.
That's well communicated, I imagine. He's probably was saying when he died mid lane when he put the ward down, like, it's, you know, it's 6 minutes and I'm level 2. Like, I desperately need a lane. Like, the 10-minute tome is not going to cut it. So Lina, the big thing is there, the way he allows himself to get the lane is he helps secure Lina the power rune. Getting a haste rune means Lina can rotate, then pull back to the jungle. And Lina with it, really, I love that move to just throw the Laguna, force the Enrage, because it means he baits out the Enrage so that he can get the LSA off as the status resist is disappearing.
And I wonder where Lina wants to go next. These Stones is back to base, going to refill the mana. Do you think he just goes back to mid, plays a little bit more for his game to get the yours? And yeah, in fact, he's going to do that.
Yeah, Nyx doesn't need this lane anymore. Level 4.5, almost level 5. You're no longer that underleveled Nyx. If you need the tome in 10 minutes, you can get it. Or they can even leave it. Death Prophet, oh, wow, almost level 6. So both supports on the RNG side getting lots. And, I mean, Red Panda was involved in that kill, so that was a decent chunk of XP. And yeah, he's just in a good position in general.
This is a much better game for the position 3 on Aster.Aries. Top of the net worth is your Axe. Vanguard already completed. It's also got 1,500 gold in the bank as well. So this is going to be an incredible timing here. And with that being said, I mean, we're going to have to see them get active now once he picks this up. Because if he continues to play a little bit more slow, then you're really missing that big early timing where you can put pressure on the map.
Yeah, I think he had a decent chunk of stacks that you've got to fall back to, so his farm. And now, you know, Phoenix with the Midas Q up on Doom, they're going to be getting a lot of farm coming their way. The question is, for me, it's like, don't be too greedy with these 3 farming cores. Doom is that mid laner, and he's smoked up looking for that Doom play. No level 6 on Lion yet, but wraparound could set things up nicely.
Red Panda needed 1 experience point to hit that level 6 before the smoke. He now has it available. He's going to run up the high ground and into the grasping hands of Aster.Aries as they'll burst through the Death Prophet position 5. Does give the information so Flyback can retreat back to safety, and they are getting a lot out of the map though nonetheless, as Felix is level 5 and a third here, which is really important. I think we're going to see once these 6s are picked up from either team supports, the players are going to start to ramp up. The Exorcism for the push, the Vendetta to scout out, maybe find that pick off, and then for Dire, you got the Finger of Death Burst, and then the Supernova for some team fights. I feel like this game, once we get those levels, we'll continue to ramp up.
Same time, I feel like, you know, this is kind of how I felt about their draft at 10 minutes last game, where I was like, well, this is looking great. Their lanes are going pretty well. I'm hopeful they're going to come online with these item timings. We just need to see that team fight. The good news is it's way easier to execute. Axe Blink, you have a Blink Call initiation. You can follow up with a Finger, with a Supernova. Ursa's going to be nice and farmed, and Ursa gives them a way to take, not towers, but Roshan. So some important objectives can be claimed. The problem is their draft doesn't exactly take towers that well, and they haven't been able to take that offlane tier 1 tower. So map control wise, farming wise, they're forced to just keep playing on their side of the map.
Where do we want to see Aster.Aries smoke up? Because they have the blink completed on the Axe. Is there a particular target they're going to look to bring down?
Either Lina or Lifestealer, both are good kills for them. But definitely, yeah, Lion plus Axe are the 2 that should be smoking up together. Surprised Axe is just showing. He's not really showing, but there could be a ward there or something. He's going to back off now to join that Lion, and I believe these 2 should be going for a smoke gank. Yeah, it looks like they are headed down bottom. Lifestealer, no armlet yet. Let's see, probably they've got the damage to kill him. It'll be a little bit close, but right now he's actually avoiding them. He's just farming his jungle. I think they're like, oh, this Lifesteal is going to be running back to form the safe parts of his jungle. He's actually farming in like this crazy dangerous place. They're just not expecting him there. It's actually pretty next level, although I don't think it's intentional from God King.
Yeah, they still don't see him right now. I mean, they're going to get vision pretty soon.
Yeah.
The smoke's about to expire though.
A
couple of creeps to help.
Got the
Instant
rage off.
Rage.
He Can he invest in anything? Maybe a
He's got
teammate.
some backup. Felix coming over, sets up. Great two-man stun. This is disastrous for Aster.Aries. They haven't been able to burst through God King, and it's going to cost Yona his life, and now Axe as well. This is not the reveal of the Blink Dagger you were hoping for. As the slow is there, Aries, they're going to still look to turn. Supernova in a perfect position, but the Laguna Blade, it's plenty. They'll burst through the Axe, and the Egg will do naught. As Aster.Aries have to retreat away.
And Doom just felt like he didn't have any good Doom targets. Like, he just held on to it. Lulu gets kited by the Yule Scepter. That turnaround from Aster.Aries, like in my head, that looked good, but there was just too much damage to blow up the Axe, and perfect decision to disengage. The second they kill him, like, okay, we've won this fight, let's back off, not get caught in the Supernova stun. This Yule's is about to wear off on Ursa at any mate. Gotta clean up, and absolutely, yeah, like you said, a terrible way to reveal that Blink. They took so long to find the lifesteal, by the time they did, they were next to an outpost where the TPs, and Nyx was already rotating in, so really bad outcome for Aster.Aries.
And I love this play from Felix. Look at where he's just placed some recent wards. One around the top jungle area on that high ground, and behind the tier 2 mid. This is going to give them so much deep information. And they have a lineup where you want to find pickoffs. You know, Legion to start with a Laguna follow-up, the Nyx to scout out, to then even further enable these pickoffs. Maybe you can have a lifesteal infested, so they really need to prioritize playing around these pickoffs. You can get a super farm Legion Commando. I mean, he's already got his first dual victory of the game, so we'll see how he's able to continue to ramp up in this second game.
If he can get some more, maybe we see that transition to being more of a true core, but probably a bit more of a relegation towards being a press the attack save bot. He's the one who, you know, if somebody gets jumped on, he's going to have to just bail them out. Has a BKB queued up, so that's going to give him some good team fight survivability against the Phoenix, the Lion, and see how this game goes for him. But yeah, I think this game just feels very similar to the last, where RNG are just playing it safe, conservatively, waiting for Aster.Aries to make these mistakes, and knowing that they're going to hit this kind of mid to late game timing where they're just going to be a whole lot stronger. And we haven't seen Aster.Aries. They're playing on the dire side, so it's hard to kind of control that Roshan pit, but not getting that pick off on the lifesteal meant like they didn't snowball off of anything. They didn't take it. It's still not taking a tower. They haven't even done damage to this bottom tower until now. No signs of a Roche. It's looking pretty grim for them in some ways, even though it's an even gold game.
Yeah, the fact that this game is even net worth, I feel like just doesn't tell the tale. Like you need to get this tower taken off the checklist. It just opens up the map, more camps to farm, more areas of the map you can infiltrate and potentially find pickoffs. And or RNG, they're happy with trading bot for a tier 1 mid. They've got the Exorcism, which is going to get committed now for the jump in. Axe are going to try and burst him down with the finger and the Sunray. They will be successful. So the Red Panda for the fight. But RNG, they're going to look to have a successful retreat away with the LSA clipping onto multiple. So both towers are going to keep their life there. That is Exorcism wasted for the side of Radiant.
I think the tough thing there, like, they have to defend that mid tower, but generally speaking, a team in that position, you're able to take the bottom tower while defending. The problem is none of their heroes push buildings at all. Ursa, Doom, and Axe, they're not objective takers, and as a result, they're not able. They can defend, they can take these team fights, but they're not getting any map control.
Oh, nice setup from Felix. They still got their own rebuttal with the jump in from the Axe. Call on to Phoenix. He's swinging on over in the wings. They're going to try and target down Flyby, but he's so speedy. Blink up in a couple seconds. They even dropped the Supernova just for the damage tick to stop the Blink Dagger, and he's still in range of the burn, so Flyby won't be able to get out of safety, or will he? Cut through the trees. Felix is just going to sacrifice his life almost.
Oh, Axe is stuck.
Axe is stuck in the trees, so he can't continue to hunt. And now they actually have the backup at D-Stone, so they're thinking about going back in.
Flyby is an off-lane player. He knows his trees. He chopped his way perfectly through the jungle there to escape. I mean, Siamese Cat kind of has to egg, or the Blink, I guess, was going to be refreshed. So he's like, okay, we need this damage over time. He's juking us in trees. We need damage to stop his Blink, but I think it was probably just, you just got to let him go there. Blink Call, they pull Lifestealer in. Doom follow-up. He's pretty speedy, though.
isn't enough though. Great war stomp BKB from Phoenix. They're using everything to try and prioritize it down the lifestealer, and he will not have enough to sustain through the damage. As the Cult will claim the kill, is also getting a little bit antsy here, fighting more. They're feeling themselves after that lifestealer kill. And in fact, that should lead them into the Roche Pit. They know the exorcism is on cooldown. I mean, it's going to be back up in 15 seconds. But let's see what RNG can do with the numbers disadvantage here.
Yeah, they need the Nyx is bottom, and he's showing with low mana, so I think Aries know that they're kind of in a 3v5 here. Nyx is just not even showing up. Yeah, Death Prophet's trying to poke, and yeah, they have to give it up. If Nyx was there to stall with the Impale, perhaps it's a different story, and it's not like a misplay from Nyx. I think Nyx was not expecting Lifesteal to get picked off there. He's just trying to finish his Blink Dagger, which is, you know, that's his job right now. It's just to finish that next big item, which could have a big impact on this game. Actually goes for a 4-staff instead. Interesting. He had the Blink queued up. I think he sees this as a better save. Like, basically, Lifestealer dies, and probably Lifestealer's there is like, can somebody buy a 4-staff? And it's the Nyx's job. Nyx, who wants to go Blink, is going to be, you know, forced to go for this item, which he's more than happy to play with.
Yeah, the Force is going to provide you a lot to kind of kite the Doom. We saw last game the Surge was, well, it didn't really come into fruition, but at least the thought was there. So now you're itemizing for it, and it gets to the stage where God King, he can definitely survive if he has like Skadi, Satanic, and, you know, a little bit of help from the rest of the team. But Aster.Aries, this is kind of the timing they're looking for. As long as you get the Aegis, this is such an important thing. We highlighted in the draft, Ulu needs to get first and second Roche. There is such a power spike with the Aghanim Shard. And in fact, he's also going for an MKB after his own BKB. And can you see a reasoning why? I can't really see a hero that you would want an MKB for this game.
Lifestealer does get the evasion talent later on. I guess maybe he saw the Sanjin is expecting a Halberd to come out from the Lifestealer. Generally, Lifestealer does go Halberd against the Ursa, but it looks like he's just going casual Sanj. I don't think he's got the Talisman, if I'm seeing this correctly. So maybe I hope Ursa just doesn't commit to buying this MKB just yet. He can kind of wait and see. You know, if the Halberd comes out, you definitely need the MKB though. As things stand, we'll see what they can do with his Aegis. I think they want to farm up this Blink. Yeah, farm the Blink on Doom and then look for that next smoke play. It's just so hard because I feel like RNG can just play ultra defensive and know that Aster.Aries have no way to really take towers easily.
Yeah, I think this is where this wonky position 5 Death Prophet comes into play. Like, I've still until you get to the late game, even Lina as well, once you get items, you don't really do much to hit objectives. And having the position 5 that can at least offer you some tower taking potential, whereas you take a look at Aster.Aries, they have no heroes. So you see at least the boxes you look to check off in the draft, they've definitely done that with the Death Prophet getting picked up, and it just really limits how you're able to play a game of Dota. Now you have to get multiple kills or have an Aegis advantage before you can hit a towers. Lion's gonna get pulled out to the side here. Crypt Swarm, it's enough. So the duo support of RNG kill off Yona, and maybe with that death on the Lion, Aster.Aries now have to think twice about pushing up the mid lane.
Good play from Nyx, playing by his sentry, so he knows he can stand there undetected because he's got a sentry, so he would see the enemy sentry. Whoa, Siamese cat, you're a madman. What is the Impale, luckily?
Exo for it. No AT. Yeah. What?
Hey.
Kill him. How did he get away?
Missed Impale. Makes a sick play with the positioning by his sentry, killing off the line, and then unfortunately misses an Impale, but you know, these things happen. Impale, not always the easiest spell to land.
Even Exo on cooldown now. Okay.
Yeah, that's a big one. Exorcism really sets him up for a potential team fight here. We can see Ursa has thought about the Basher now instead of the MKB, so he's holding. The longer he sees this Lifestealer go without getting a Halberd, he's like, okay, no MKB. He's got an Ogre Axe. He's going BKB. It looks like. Find the Nyx. That's. The Nyx that keeps trying to play around that sentry. This time around they managed to punish him, but it's still just the Nyx. That's kind of his job, which at times to tank these ganks. Ideally he, you know, 4-staffs and survives, but as long as the lifesteal doesn't go down, but...
Could be in trouble.
Yeah.
Like,
great.
He didn't have Hex up. He just had to wait a couple of seconds, but the Doom's there.
Yep.
They'll cancel the TP, the call as well. So the BKB piercing stuns are there, but Flyby, he's going to be able to blink in, follow up. He's got the Aghanim shard, but is the immunity enough to keep the lifesteal alive? Another follow up in this stun, but the Doom's expired, so now the Rage and the Infest is available. Blink up in a couple seconds, but Flyby, it's not refreshed just yet. They need the extra rotations of the tier 1 tower, but slowly they're starting to funnel in. With a Supernova drop directly on their head, they'll kill off the Legion, and now GoDz in trouble as well. But the Rage is up in a couple of seconds. Can he armlet toggle to safety? The Force plate finger is still alive. GoDz, the escape. Lifestealer back to safety, but the rest of the heroes, they're in trouble as D-Stones is trying to get back away with the BKB. There's no stuns right now as Aster.Aries, they cannot claim the important kills on the Lifestealer and the Lina. But Red Panda oversteps the mark. They got the jump in from the Axe, the call again, the supports just dangling their lives. He's not even gonna fall. Somehow RNG, what a successful escape from them.
This is like heartbreaking to watch for Aster.Aries. I feel like they should be like team wiping RNG. It's like, all right, they should have killed Lifesteal and Legion, and then the supports come in to try and help out the Lifesteal. The Nyx saves him with a force off. I'm like, all right, they should kill the Nyx too. All these heroes should be dead, and they're just being slightly outplayed. They're just not quite getting these kills there. The fact Lifesteal survives was an absolute miracle. The Rage coming up, I believe he may have even dodged the Finger of Death damage with the Rage. This is a small little window where you can pop it, and they're going to catch the Phoenix now as well. RNG made some misplays that led up to that fight, like the missed Impale where they committed Exorcism. That created a huge window for Aster.Aries to like take a huge advantage, kill the Lifestealer, kill a few heroes, take some towers. Instead, they kill nothing except a 3-position Legion. They don't take a single tower. That was just a terrible sequence of events for Aster.Aries, despite how much of an advantage they had.
Again, they're going to try and go King Top. This time they got the instant Hex. There's the follow-up damage on top of the crit wave. That's a lot of damage. This time we'll see the Lifestealer fall. He tried to do it a second time, but they're going to be able to punish him as GoDz caught out. And now they're going to look to smoke potentially. Siamese Cat thought he was going to TP in to group up, but no, they're just going to look to reset, de-ward their jungle and get control.
I'm not sure what he was doing up there alone. It's like one thing if it's like a one-man Lion who sets up for some TP in, but that was like 3 heroes just wrapping around him. He should have realized all these heroes were missing, I think, but it stands. Another pick-off potentially coming their way. Red Panda.
Just too greedy.
Yeah.
He saw the Lion running up the high ground. He tried to double back and maybe get like a cute silence before he blinked on forward. I'm just not sure the positioning of him to dangle his life there, but now you give away a couple of freebies and all of a sudden this net worth lead, it's slowly diminishing.
Yeah, that's moves from Aster.Aries making up for their previous shortcomings. They've got this gem now on the Doom, which makes this Nyx's game so much harder. That vision game that's going to just allow Aster.Aries to de-ward the map and really play around their strength. They're trying to set up for a strong Roche #2 timing here, and Ursa with an Ag Shard plus Aegis is going to be really hard to fight into. RNG should know this. They themselves should be looking to be ready for this Roche fight that will be coming up in the next few minutes.
MKB freshly completed for D-Stones. A big item for him. They're gonna go for the long wraparound. Ward on the high ground. Kind of the opposite side here. Either team gonna get the confirmation of the positioning as the Doom Courier flies on over. Roshan's still not up for another 40 seconds as they see Phoenix pushing on forward. Again, they need to go for the long wraparound here as got a really strong ward to the northern side. They can play around this, but looks like RNG, they're like, okay, you're not going to come to us, we'll force you mid. Tier 2 taking a little bit of damage to the catapult, so you have to think otherwise now.
Doom shows himself on the ward though. What's the play going to be? They see the ward now.
Instant Exo. He's got A on disc, BKB. Aeon's going to pop relatively soon from Phoenix, but they get the jump in. Cole only on one. Instant rage as well, but the Doom's going to fly. They're unable to deal with the supernova, so they have to kite away from the egg. But it looks like Aster.Aries, they're not happy with how the start of the fight has occurred. So they're going to look to double back, jump on Red Panda, but the damage is plentiful with the Laguna Blade. They'll cut through the Doom, they'll cut through the Phoenix as well. As 2 down on Dire, and now Roshan is up and available for the taking.
Red Panda just tanking through everything on the front lines with a Nether Shoal, that extra 25% magic resistance. He wasn't being really right-clicked. This Lina with MKB timing was just shredding through these heroes. They doom the Lifesteal who just disengages. I feel like if they're using this Doom, they need to be following up with some kind of disables and lockdown. Because when Lifesteal just walks away, that Doom did not feel good at all about how that fight went, and also just had his Aeon disc prop way too early.
Oof, so close. That second roast though, we highlighted how important it is for Aster.Aries, and honestly now I feel like their win condition is starting to evaporate with the shard given over to God King. So he's got the open wounds, as they will get a catch though, flyby. BKB is available. He's not going to actually TP out. The rest of RNG, they're too slow to connect. He's got another round of the press to attack that BKB lasting for so long, and these stones will rip apart the supports. Bye-bye Lion. They've been trying to catch for more as Axe caught from the Yules. They still got a couple heroes nearby, even the potential of a tier 2 tower to TP in. It's these stones has got to be careful. He's still got the Aegis advantage. Cole's on the point here, and the damage is going to be able to burst him down through the first light, but now with the blink forward, dual counter initiation straight on top of the Axe. So Flyby is up to 60 damage now. As RNG, they do lose the Aegis. You get a couple kills in return.
Stones is just having the series of his life here. He has gone from one amazing Lina game to the next. I was a little unsure about his approach where he goes for this Yule Scepter and then plays this kind of passive farming game, but he shows when he comes online with this mid-game BKB plus MKB, he is very scary. I like the Axe approach, going for the Blade Mail as a kind of counter to this Lina. This item doesn't help against Lifestealer, but you need to be able to jump on this Lina. I feel like that's your #1 target in these fights. They're kind of learning that God King is a bit of a bait, much like last game. His Luna, yeah, it was farmed, but it's the D-Stone's Lina that is the #1 damage-dealing source in these team fights for RNG. But with an Aegis there was just too much in the RNG tank, and they win another fight, 10k gold lead, just so reminiscent of game 1, where for the first 15-20 minutes it feels neck and neck, and like Aster.Aries should have the advantage, be out farming them and taking control, but they just can't take the right pickoffs and utilize their advantage in the right way.
Yeah, and now it's going to get even more difficult as well with the gem on Nyx Assassin, that vision game that you're ever so requiring to find the jump on the Lion, the Axe, the Doom to get these targets and take them out of a fight is now just that much more difficult here, as we even see a tier 2 tower fall. So worrying signs right now for Dire, but it looks like they're not happy with the status quo, and they're going to smoke up and try and make a move here.
Yeah, they took out the Aegis, so there is openings for them to hopefully, start a fight by jumping somebody like this Lina. They have to respect the potential for a press the attack save, but when you've got the Axe Call and the Doom, they do have ways to win these fights, and they see everybody. There's a great Dire ward. Nyx with a gem though. He wards it, but see if Aster.Aries can get the jump they want.
Coming down, Red Panda. Nyx, so they scout him out. Felix, oh, that ward just got placed though. Can they protect it? But you don't want to jump a Nyx Assassin. This is the issue.
Yeah, he's like, come on guys, I got an A on this. He's literally doing 360s. Yep, he knows he's being spotted there, but they have to get the jump on one of these cores. Lina, ideally, I think Legion's an okay. I don't think Lifesteal's a good option, but Legion or Lina, both are good. The Legion, you take away that press the attack save. The Lina, well, you're killing the carry in a way. The real carry.
Radiant. They're outside. Phoenix, link away. On A on disc, BKB as well. They're gonna try and burst him down. Sunray gives him a little bit of protection at the moment. Flywind hasn't used that jewel just yet. They did turn and target down the supernova. Where are the stunts to be able to protect the egg? There's not. The Axe Call a little bit too late, but he does find 3. It's a lot of damage. Nyx Death Prophet ripped apart, but now D-Stones as well. He can turn, push back Ulu with the BKB expiring. D-Stones has got his own. They need the buybacks. Where's the help's going to fly out? And Raid gives him some of the damage protection, and now another jump in. Axe, great call, catches out the Lina. They'll take a fight on their side of the map. It's going to pay out big dividends here for Aster.Aries.
Yeah, all it took. I mean, I guess it seems like they're not good at starting fights themselves, but when they're the ones being jumped on, and this Axe can get such a great call to counter initiate, the fights look good for them. But what we really need to see for this Aster.Aries team to take it to the next level is being able to start the fights themselves. But now they do manage to get the gem back. They can take over this mid-tier 1 tower and start playing on the Radiant side of the map better. Fantastic turnaround from them, considering how grim things have been looking for the last 10 minutes. This life stealer, he may get caught.
Nice rage. They're going to be careful how deep they dive.
Yeah, Bash is there.
He's also got the Infest. They need a target. And buyback on D-Stones, but not Aster.Aries. They're committed too far. You need to retreat. A great stun on the high ground. Ulu's getting controlled. The rage into the Yules means that he can't retreat to safety, and he doesn't have mana for the BKB TP out. He needs to try and get out of range for the Blink, but it's too shy. As they'll catch out the Ursa, they might be able to catch out Phoenix too. Flyby, blink up in a couple seconds. They even got the spider legs. There's the jewel. They'll turn it back around. No retreat for you as a Laguna decimates the life of the Doom.
Good guy, D-Stones, making sure they get the dual damage. They had the kill without the Laguna, but they just barely got the dual kill thanks to it. Now they're going high ground. Yeah, Doom just used it. They know the Dooms is on cooldown. Ursa just out of gold. And RNG, this is, potentially that dangerous spot where their lifestealer just doesn't have buyback himself. It's the Lina who has to be very careful. Lina fought back for that previous fight, so D-Stones needs to position carefully, but they're going to get one lane and go for a second. I don't think there's anything Aster.Aries can do about this.
It feels like you might just have to try and protect this bottom set of barracks. Hope for the best here with the Ursa still down and the Doom.
They've got the tier 2 tower, so you probably see RNG just back off and maybe play around the next Roshan, farm the map, get their next items. Play cautiously because Exorcism down, no buyback on Lina, and RNG with a 4 racks advantage, probably feeling like this game is now theirs to lose.
Prime position for them to move forward here in the lower bracket. 14,000 net worth lead, and we're just going to see 4 items to continue to accumulate here as Flyby very close to a Sanj and Yasha. God King's even going for the Soul Cuirass. What is D-Stones opting for? A Satanic here for Alina. They are so farm.
The Satanic will help against the Axe, Call, and Blade Mail. Won't necessarily save your life by itself, but it does make you a lot tankier, and potentially you have that Satanic turnaround play. If you get Blink called and you somehow pop Satanic before the call, you just lifesteal through the Blade Mail damage.
Even the Doom as well, like with 3 Fury Soul stacks with the talent, you hit so fast, so hard. You're gonna get a lot of passive health back, and that definitely could be enough. Keep in mind, you've got the BKB press the attack with the Agnum Shard, so any little bit of extra survivability could be a big factor here. It's really felt like we haven't seen the Doom impact than what we've seen in our previous series, though, hasn't it felt like that?
Yeah, I think these upper echelon teams in the China region kind of exposing some of the weaknesses of Doom. I think the hero can look really good in these slightly tier 1.5, tier 2 team games where they're just not as good as playing around the ultimate, and also these games Doom just seems to get farmed, get that late game refresher up. Against these more polished teams, they just know how to play around Doom. It doesn't feel like somebody gets Doom, they die. It feels like they're just being bailed out. Game 1 by the Surge, this game by the 4 stops, the press the attack. And yeah, this Doom is feeling very ineffective.
Smoke's gonna pop here as RNG looking to start to get control of the top side of the map. They know that this next objective is going to be Roshan with respawning in the next minute here. So just get some wards down, get the outposts, and kind of cut away that area for Aster.Aries.
And Aster.Aries don't have a good way to scout it, really, so they're probably, for all they know, Roche could be dying right now. They may just be saying, let's just give it up and play the high ground, but I think they're better off, contesting it. So they're forced to smoke well before Roche respawns, but they don't know and they can't scout it, so they're looking to make their play. Problem is Radiant have a good observer ward here, so they can pop this smoke with the Nyx, who's got a Blink 4 staff. Yep, they pop it. They see the Lion, they back off. Red Panda throws out silence.
They need to drop a ward. Like, you need vision on Aster.Aries to take the fire. Now Phoenix, he can't blink to start it. It's actually already Aeon popped here.
It was Exorcism though, so maybe RNG need to either force this fight, and they
Jumping,
will do so.
Felix,
Oh my
Angel's
god,
gonna
Doom's
cooldown
screwed.
flyby. They're gonna drop the supernova, target it down. There's the call in the nick of time, but can they protect it? On top of the backline, the bash is out as well, so the egg's gonna pop, but can they lock in D-Stones? Cheats BKB, gets him back to safety, and now Ulu, he's the one in trouble. And BKB gives him a little bit of space. He's gonna kite them down to the southern side, but the stun is there. Meanwhile, mid, we got a duel out, Axe control, Laguna Blade, Sunray Hill, not enough. As D-Stones, with the help of the Legions, able to find a big kill, and Aster.Aries lose 3.
This, yeah, huge fight. The supports killed the Doom. Doom didn't get his ultimate off. It was just I mean, Exorcism is obviously a scary spell to fight into, but that's a 5-position Death Prophet with a Blink Impale from your Nyx, killing the Doom. Breaking his A on this, then killing him before he can BKB. Just really tough game for this Doom, and amazing support play from RNG.
Have to hope for the Doom respawn for the fire, but your throne's exposed and it's falling really fast, guys. You got to do something. A BKB on D-Stones. There's the Doom out. But Phoenix is getting ripped apart. The damage, it's not there, and that should be all she wrote. The G's had dropped an RNG on this day. Too strong for Aster.Aries to deal with.
Whew. Convincing. Definitely RNG with a distinct playstyle, you know, not looking to play this kind of early game Dota, sitting back, waiting for this kind of 20-25 minute timing. 2 games in a row, we see Aster.Aries looking like they have a good draft, but unable to do much with it.
Yeah, unfortunate for them. It's just, they hit the timing where it felt like they were okay to those 15 minutes, and then after that, it really just felt like the execution on RNG was at another level, and it showed in this series. A 2-0 victory from them. They're going to move on and face Team Magma in the lower bracket round 4. We'll send this one to a break and start to get ready for our next series of the night.